Immigration agents went door to door at least 7 locations across the Denver metro area today, doing what President Trump had promised months ago. Now, they tell us that these raids are targeted, but some people say that's not true. Thanks for joining us at 4 o'clock. I'm Tom Green.
And I'm Kim Christensen. It's not clear how many have been arrested or how many have even been detained. Our teams have been tracking the operations. Here's a look at how widespread they've been. The Edge at Lowry near 12th and Dallas in Aurora, along with 3 other apartment complexes in Aurora, were targeted. Agents also went to 3 apartments in Denver and 1 mobile home park in Thornton.
The Jewel apartment complex, that's where we find Rhea John. Rhea, the people living there say they awakened this morning to the dozens of agents who were banging on doors there.
Yeah, it's completely cleared out now, but as you said, that was not the case earlier this morning. There was a large presence here at Jewel Apartments that included armored vehicles, large vans, officers in tactical gear, just a huge show of force. More than 100 officers got out and surrounded the building. It was officers from the Department of Homeland Security, DEA, and ATF, ICE. Many residents we spoke with were woken up to federal agents banging on their doors.
They banged on the door, opened the door, and they were like knee deep in front of my door. And they were asking me if I was American or if I was legal.
Many residents were telling us about how agents were going door to door asking people for ID. We got security footage from a woman who lives in the adjacent building. It shows the moment a number of agents filed out the back of the apartment, and you can just see how many of them were inside. A lot of these residents we spoke with told us this was just a really scary morning for them.
Just scared, didn't know what they were gonna do. Didn't know if they were gonna come in without permission. I didn't know if I was supposed to open the door. I took my chances and didn't answer the door. After they left here, you see like 30, 40 cars just leaving.
The people we spoke with said they saw 3 people getting detained, and we saw at least one of those happen. We're going to send it over to Mark Salinger, who is at an apartment complex in Aurora. And Mark, it seems to be that this is the case throughout the day here. We are seeing this huge show of force, but a few people getting detained.
Yeah, Rhea, thank you. We are outside of an apartment complex just off of Colfax in northwest Aurora. For context, we're just a couple of blocks away from the Anschutz Medical Center, where earlier today on this street here behind me, we saw about 30 ICE and Homeland Security agents come with their guns drawn, ready to arrest people. Ultimately, we saw 2 people detained, though we don't know yet who those 2 people are. We want to show you video of what that looked like earlier today when agents arrived. They had their large guns drawn. They were dressed in full protective gear. They showed up with a convoy of cars, including 2 armored Bearcats. We don't know why they detained the 2 people. They did, or if they were targeting them specifically when they came here. Neighbors say the officers didn't knock on other doors within the apartment building or search any other apartments. One neighbor I spoke with described the fear he felt thinking that he was going to be arrested.
Sentí mucho miedo cuando miré que llegaron acá a esta urbanización porque lo que se oye es que nos van a agarrar a todos y nos van a enviar a Venezuela. Y para mí fue como terror, porque sí, la verdad, y llegaron pegando gritos con armas en mano y la verdad sí se sintió terrorífico porque nunca lo había vivido acá.
Now, we followed the convoy of federal vehicles as they made their way through the city earlier today. They would start at staging areas, then all drive through the city, and a convoy, almost 24 vehicles long, until they made their way to different apartment buildings like the one here in northwest Aurora. At this time, we don't know again how many people were detained or why they targeted certain people. Live in Aurora, I'm Mark Salinger, 9 News.
Yeah, Mark, I think it's important to point out that we see these shows of force and we see these scenes, and it's the follow-through that will be incumbent on everyone, from those who make these raids, those of us who cover them, and people who follow them, to understand what happens now, going forward as well.
Yeah, exactly. I just spoke with someone close to the mayor of Denver, and they told me that they don't even know exactly how many people were detained or why they went to certain apartment buildings. At this point, again, a large show of force, but we don't even know the exact outcome of what happened today.
We'll continue to update it. We'll have much more coming up at 5 o'clock. Thanks, Mark.
Right now, we have a live look at the state capitol. Large crowds gathered for a rally in response to immigration operations and other changes since President Trump took office today. This was a previously planned rally. Some of the attendees were community members making their voices heard. We also know that high school students marched from their schools to the Capitol. Jeremy Hahola is there. He's going to join us with a live report at 4:30. Today, we learned Mayor Mike Johnston will testify next month at the U.S. Capitol about Denver being a sanctuary city. The House Oversight Committee sent invitations to Johnston and several other mayors. The committee says it's launching an investigation into sanctuary city policies and the impact on public safety. Mayor Johnston is not being subpoenaed or forced to go. He is accepting the invitation. So there's a lot to recap here. Critically, ICE will not tell us at this hour how many arrests have been made today. We know that they were attempting to target more than 100 people. Our crews on the scene have not yet seen anywhere near that number of arrests.
Leadership at ICE is insisting this was a targeted operation. The video we've reviewed and people that we've spoken to tell us the federal agents were at some locations knocking on what seemed to be multiple random doors. The first raid happened at around 6 a.m. and the raids, though, continued on into the afternoon.